This movie makes me believe that Edgar Wright could do any genre he wants. Last Night at Soho is the latest Edgar Wright film, directed and written by Edgar Wright, and Kristen Wilson Carnes is the secondary writer in this movie. I guess Edgar Wright wanted to make sure he got his female characters right since this is a female-led movie. So he got a female writer to help him out in making the movie. Starring Thomasin McKenzie from Jojo Rabbit. She played the Jewish girl in Jojo Rabbit. Then you have Anya Taylor-Joy playing Sandy. She was the lead actress from The Witch and the Queen Gambit series. First time actor Michael, I don't know how to say his last name, so I'll just spell it Ajao. He plays John, Ellie's love interest in the movie. Diana Riggs plays Ms. Collins, who is Ellie's landlady. She decides to get her own place when the college dorm is not working out for her. And then you had Terrence Stamp in the movie playing this silver-haired guy. And this is his first delve into straight horror, psychological horror. And from my opinion, I really did like this movie. Thomasin McKenzie playing our lead character, Ellie, and Ellie has the power of clairvoyance. She is psychic and she wishes to become a fashion designer. She goes to London to become a fashion designer and she's hoping that her psychic power doesn't get in the way. She really hasn't totally learned how to use her clairvoyance really, so I think she's just getting the hang of it, and basically, she kind of lets the power control her more than she controlling the power, I guess. When she gets to London, she's really not doing so well in the college dorm area. There's this mean girl there who is supposed to be her roommate, but she's really not treating her all that well. There's also this very nice boy named John, played by Michael Ajao. And he and Ellie do have some pretty good chemistry in the movie. I do like the little romance that spuds between them throughout the movie. Now, since the dorm life is not working out for Ellie, she decides to leave the dorm and find another place to live at this little area that is owned by an old woman by the name of Miss Collins. It's this nice little room that she can have all to herself, and it's basically what she always wanted. It's a room that looks like something like right out of the 60s, because she's somebody that is in love with the 60s. She likes the 60s lifestyle. She likes the 60s time, even though she's never been to the 60s. I think she's able to see the 60s through her mother's eyes because she has this connection with her mother. She's able to see her mother's ghost in the mirror. I guess maybe because her mother died when she was really young, and she misses her, as she knows that her mother was born in the 60s, so she's kind of nostalgic for the 60s and loves 60s music and everything. And she wishes to be a fashion designer. So when she's staying in this room, she instantly gets transported back to the 60s into the mind of this girl that lived in the 60s named Sandy, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, and seeing the life that she had through her eyes. And if you've seen the trailer, you see that much of it she's looking through a mirror, almost like she's a fly in the wall. But she's looking in the mirror, and slowly the 60s era begins to take over her present day life, and she can't seem to control it, and it's overwhelming her clairvoyance. She can't seem to control her power because the nightmares that she's getting from the visions she's getting from the 1960s, she can't control that, and she can't control what she's seeing, all these images of all the things that have happened to Anya Taylor-Joy's character Sandy, and John wants to help her, but he doesn't really understand what's going on, even though Ellie has told him about her ability with clairvoyance and about the visions, the dreams, and to some extent he does believe in ghosts, but he doesn't totally understand what's going on with Ellie, even though he really wants to help her. There's this other guy in the movie, played by Terrence Stamp, this silver-haired gentleman who becomes a pretty key character in the movie, and you have Matt Smith in the movie playing Jack, who is this guy that has a strong connection to Sandy. He and Sandy were once together. I don't want to spoil too much of who Jack is, played by Matt Smith, or give away too many spoilers, but this movie was really good. I did like this movie a lot. I mean, there are some flaws that I didn't like, and to be honest, I kind of understand when my brother went to see it that he said he really couldn't get into it, but I was able to get into this. I really did like this movie a lot, and I really do love the two leads. Thomasin McKenzie I thought was great in the movie, and I really did like Anya Taylor-Joy. I liked the scenes in the 60s era where they're doing the whole mirror bit. That was really cool, and the dance scene that Anya Taylor-Joy Smith in the movie playing Jack, who is this guy that has a strong connection to Sandy. He and Sandy were once together. I don't want to spoil too much of who Jack is, played by Matt Smith, or give away too many spoilers, but this movie was really good. I did like this movie a lot. I mean, there are some flaws that I didn't like, and to be honest, I kind of understand when my brother went to see it that he said he really couldn't get into it, but I was able to get into this. I really did like this movie a lot, and I really do love the two leads. Thomasin McKenzie I thought was great in the movie, and I really did like Anya Taylor-Joy. I liked the scenes in the 60s era where they're doing the whole mirror bit. That was really cool, and the dance scene that Anya Taylor-Joy has with Matt Smith is awesome, and yeah, have Thomasin McKenzie moving right in sync with Anya Taylor-Joy in that scene. That's really cool and everything. It's a really good movie. I like the psychological horror that Edgar Wright does with this film, because I wasn't expecting conventional horror. That's not Edgar Wright's style. Edgar Wright doing psychological horror, that's awesome. That's a really cool idea, and he really does the horror in this movie really well. But let's get into the flaw, in my opinion, with this movie, and that is the mean girl. I did not like the mean girl. The mean girl keeps on popping up, and almost every time I was like, can we please not have this mean girl in the movie anymore? I mean, luckily she stops being in the movie near the end of once we get to the climax of the film. She's not in the movie as much as she was in the beginning of the film and a little bit in the middle of the film, but she was an annoying character, and I kind of understand that she's supposed to be an annoying character, but she was a little bit too annoying. But aside from that, I really did like this movie. This is a really good film. I definitely think people should check this movie out. So I'm gonna give this movie a B+. It's definitely worth it. And that's all I gotta say for Last Night at Soho. This is not Edgar Wright's best film. My three favorite Edgar Wright movies are Hot Fuzz, Shaun the Dead, and then Scott Pilgrim. Those are my top three favorite Edgar Wright movies. But this one is really good, and I think I like it a little bit more than Baby Driver. So I definitely think people should check this movie out, and that's all I gotta say for Last Night Soho.